All right, guys, welcome back. I'm Matt. This is my channel, Modern Artisan. This video is about these really cool glassware holders for a private jet. So I'm golfing probably last week, a couple weeks ago with Luke Bryan. He says, Matt, I really need your help with something. It's really important. You're probably the only guy in the world that can help me. I'm just kidding. I don't know Luke Bryan. But this actually is for Luke Bryan's plane, jet, whatever. And so somebody in his organization, Luke doesn't know me. I know of Luke, love Luke and his music. But anyway, somebody reached out to me to see if I could maybe do something for them. And so I tried to put a little bit of a custom spin on it. So this video is about making these, what that is. These are like glassware holders for just some real nice glasses to go like in a cabinet of this jet. So I didn't have a lot of information to go on. They sent me the old ones that are like kind of this plexiglass, kind of like surprisingly chintzy or something for like a whatever a private jet goes for nowadays, like 50 million. But there's some really, besides just the size, there's some really important details that I got from these. And they sent me a couple pictures of the interior of the cabinet and stuff. So, yeah, let's roll here. So small project, but something cool, something different. Thought I'd take you along. So let's back up and I'll show you what I did. All right, so this is what I drew up. All those circles are precisely measured for the diameter of the different size glasses. We got wine glasses, shot glasses, and short and tall glasses, so on. And in that black little banner, that's just covering up the tail number, which is kind of private, so I didn't want to put that on the internet. But I wanted to do something to make this artistic and a little custom, and so I came up with this kind of this line art half drawing of a guitar, and then it flows into an L and a B, which I kind of whittled down from his real signature. So this is what I came up with, and I wanted to try out a couple variations of this. This is just a thick chunk of maple I had sitting around that I wanted to test out my ideas on. You can see there's 3 different diameters for the 3 different size glasses, so I could test those out. And then it's just carving that guitar graphic. You'll notice the strings and then kind of flowing into that L and B are actually carved deeper because I had an idea to do a metal inlay. So I actually cut out the exact size of that test in the actual cherry pieces out of particle board, so I didn't have to clamp anything down. I etched out the strings, which is also that script for the L and B. A little deeper because I want to try and put metal in them. This could be a total flop. Like, I got these ingots. Well, they're over here. I got these ingots. I don't know if they're nickel. I forget what they are. It's some metal that has a low melting point. And so I can cook these things in this little pot and it'll melt it down. And then I can pour it into molds or do inlays and stuff like that. So I'm going to try it. I think, guitar strings are silver, so it might be cool. Or it might be one of those things that's just, too much and less is more. But I want to see. And so we're going to do it. I think the challenge is going to be, so this is very small. And so the strings are very small. They're etched, they're carved with a 16th inch bit. So it's like a little trench that's 1/16 of an inch wide. And so I've got to get this metal to go into that, but not go into the little etching beside it. And so I'm going to try and tape that. And I don't know if hot metal is just going to burn through the tape. A lot of unknowns here, which is why we're doing a test. You can see the real pieces here. That's the cherry that we're going to be using on the final product. They're upside down. I'm going to etch something nice in the back, or just something about who made them, or just who made them. And then we'll flip them over and actually carve them out. So I'm going to do the test with the metal, see if we like that, and if that's going to make it into the final version. So let's see. All right, I've got the part of the graphic taped off that I don't want to get metal in. I got the metal melting down. This is kind of a high-speed version of this, but it's really cool. It's a cool product if you find the right application for it. It's almost like this, when it's melted, it's like this mercury type liquid. So I pour it in there, struggled with the best way to do this. Spoiler alert, it kind of turns into a mess here, but and it burns. It does burn the wood, but I wasn't too worried about that because it was all going to get planed off. So here it is after it's cleaned up, but it still had some voids that just didn't get filled, and it just wasn't perfect the way I wanted it to be. So ultimately, I abandoned that. That was the metal inlay was a fail. And a couple other things here. I tried a couple different versions of how to put the wine glass in there. The wine glass has a convex bottom, and so I calculated a concave indent in the wood, and in the end that just let it slide around more easily than a straight cut, and so that was another fail, but that's why we test. At this point I've already etched the made in credit or made by credit. Now I'm doing the working on the tongue, because it's a tongue and groove setup in the cabinet. So we're just finishing off the bottom of the cabinet, and then we'll flip it over and carve the other side of the tongue and everything else that goes in the top side. The overall size had already been cut, including the tongue exactly. And so here I'm just lining up, just checking out that profile, making sure everything looked good and was exact. Just everything had to be really precise so it would fit in that cabinet. Tongue and groove was very important though, because they actually slide in and out of that cabinet on a track, and I'm just sending them back to them sight unseen, and I just wanted everything to fit without them having to mail it back to me. So you can hear we're carving out the glasses. You can see the cherry is actually a lot thicker than it looks because it's recessed in that particle board. So I got these two trays cut out. I need a couple different router bits to finish the groove on the side, and then I'd like to do like more of a chamfer on top instead of like a rollover, a little more angular or something. So I'm gonna see what I can find locally here. Just showing a tiny bit of all the sanding that I put into this. I had the CNC put a chamfer in the top lip of all those circles using a V-bit. Which breaks the edge nicely. It helps the glasses go in better. And I was also planning on chamfering the sides, so I thought chamfer around the rim of the glasses. The whole thing would kind of tie together. Using a slot bit on the router just to carve the top part to form that tongue and groove, the tongue profile. And now I've actually switched bits, and I'm putting that chamfer along the perimeter. You can see that kind of diagonal edge right there is what I'm doing, as opposed to a round over. Little ultra high speed staining. I wish all my work went this fast. This is one coat of stain, no other finish on it, and then now this is with at least a coat of lacquer. Might have been multiple coats of lacquer at this point. Still wet, obviously. So the next thing I had to do when this dried was to put something in the bottom to just cushion it. I didn't want them rattling around the cabinet. Played with cork, landed on this rubber, and ended up just cutting them all by hand. If you notice all those circles on the CNC, I had tried to wedge it in between two boards and cut it. And that almost worked, but not quite. So I'll spare you that whole thing. But so cut them all out. Used spray adhesive, and it worked great. The final little detail on these is a tiny little groove that's on the edge, the end of the tongue sticking out. And the purpose of that, there's like a ball bearing that rolls down that from the cabinet. And then there's a little detent at the end too where it can stop. And so here I'm just precisely locating the place of that detent and just using a little drill bit to put that little indentation in there. What you see, I'm using a knife to mark it, a razor. Sometimes I'll use that instead of a pencil when I need to just have a really precise measurement. So it looks like I already waxed this with mini wax and 440 steel wool. And now I'm just wiping off the excess. That just takes off any imperfections in the finish, kind of smooths out, you know, if dust or something settled in the finish, and makes it look nice. So that's literally a wrap, just sending them to their new home in the plane. So everything fit perfectly. This is me sometime later. I did make it out to Nashville and got to see the plane and got to see the drink holders here in place. So really proud of them. It was a cool project, fun to be a part of. Catch you next time, guys.